Hi guys, welcome back to Fragments of a Simple Life, where every video I make is super simple. I have my little spider friend back from my Dollar Tree haul video that I did, I think last week. And today I'm reading from a magazine that I've actually never read from. I know that's weird because I have all these post-its here already, but I thought I would do things a little bit differently and pre-pick some stories. So I went through, I just ripped up some pieces of post-it and put it down so I can go and read them to you guys. If there's any stories that we don't get to, I'm going to take those post-its out and put them away. So that way I know which ones we did read, but I just thought I would do it differently this time. Why not? Just a quick disclaimer, this magazine has nothing to do with me. It's for educational purposes, it's for entertainment purposes. A lot of these places are historic, which I really love, and hopefully we can learn something new. But I don't know the editors or creators of this magazine. I am not trying to take credit, just trying to have some spooky fun with you guys. And one more piece of business is I have a sore throat, so I might have to pause on reading to take a sip of water. We're going to move Spidey out of the way a little bit, but it can still stay with us. And we're going to just flip and open it. World's Scariest Places, Haunted, Creepy, and Abandoned. Table of contents includes Chapter 1, Where Ghosts Roam. Chapter 2, Dark History. Chapter 3 is Creepy Places. Chapter 4, Terrifying Nature. Chapter 5, Restless Spirits. Chapter 6, Abandoned Places. This is just the intro, but I think we'll just skip it and go straight into the stories. So this is the first one that I put a post-it on right there. This is Edinburgh, I hope I'm saying it right, Castle, located in Scotland. It says visitors have seen colored orbs floating in the dungeons. Up here it says the impressive room with a hammer beam roof was built in 1511. Shadowy figures, sudden drops in temperature, and the feeling of something tugging on your clothes are all everyday experiences in Edinburgh, from Time magazine. This is a woman that was burned at the stake. It says Janet Douglas, Lady Glamis, died in 1537. So let's read about the spirits of the doomed echo through this much besieged fortress and prison. It says, it probably seemed like a good idea at the time. A prisoner in the dank dungeons of Edinburgh Castle hatched an escape plan by burrowing into a pile of dung, in a barrow. Once the dung was carried out of the castle and dumped, he figured he'd make a run for it. What he didn't realize was that the hilltop castle disposed of its manure by flinging it off a cliff. Dung and prisoner both splattered on the rocks below. The hapless inmate apparently never got over his ignoble death. Visitors peering over the battlements swear somebody's tried to nudge them over the edge. Somebody with a foul odor. Ew. It's one of many spectral encounters at this glorious Scottish stone fortress with a history bathed in the blood from wars, executions, and torture. With structures dating back in time 9 centuries, the castle in Scotland's capital is a leading tourist destination in the UK and one of the most haunted. Perched 430 feet above sea level and surrounded on 3 sides by unsealable cliffs, the fortress has seen so much violence over the centuries that it takes the title of the most besieged place in Great Britain and one of the most attacked in the world. Wow. It's like not something that you want to be known for, to me. and says, after centuries of bloodshed from warring royalty and political partisans, Edinburgh Castle has last came under attack during the Second Jacobite, how do you say that? Jacobite Rising of 1745, after which it was used primarily as a military prison. Makes sense. Locking up inmates from the American Revolutionary War and later downed German Luftwaffe pilots, I don't know how to say it, guys, during World War II until becoming a historic site. So it went from like castle to prison to now a place that you can visit. The ghostly sightings go back centuries. One of the earliest was a headless drummer boy whose spirit was first spotted in 1650. Wow, that's pretty early. Pounding his drums shortly before an attack. From then on, the castle soldiers believed that the boy appeared as a warning of impending danger. Well, I guess that's a positive thing then, right? Like, if you have a ghost but it's trying to warn you if something bad is coming, I wouldn't be that mad about it, I guess. It says, another musical boy ghost is that of a young bagpipe player who hundreds of years ago was sent through a tiny opening deep under the castle to explore a labyrinth of newly discovered tunnels. He was told to play his bagpipes so people could keep track of him. Suddenly, the bagpipes went silent and the boy was never seen again. Oh my gosh. What? Today, faint mournful bagpipe music wafts from the depths of the castle grounds. Then there's a tragic ghost of beautiful Janet Douglas, that's her, who was imprisoned on trumped up witchcraft and poisoning charges amid 16th century royal intrigue and infighting. She was burned at the stake while her 16-year-old son watched. Oh my gosh. Ever since, the spirit known as the Weeping Grey Lady drifts through the castle halls, accompanied by the sound of hammering from the craftsman who built her scaffold. Ew. Creepy. As recently as 2003, construction workers restoring one of the buildings reported being harassed by ghosts who had been prisoners during the Neapolitan Wars. They even took photos to prove it. It says, the pictures showing what looks like fuzzy blue balls floating overhead. The workers were so rattled that they refused to go into the building again. And then in this little red box it says, sad history. The ghost of a little girl named Annie is said to reach out and grab your hand. Visit if you dare. Down the hill from the castle in the old section of town, another community of ghosts roams underground at the real Mary King's Close. Narrow alleys buried beneath the city streets in the 1700s, which is, close is a Scottish word for alleyway. Oh, I didn't know that. These are the spirits of the denizens of the once filthy lanes who died in the plagues of the 17th century, returning as floating heads. A young woman dressed in black and a little girl huddled with her doll so she wouldn't be lonely after her parents abandoned her during the plague. Oh my gosh, stop. Okay, so that was sad. Excuse me, spider. I'm going to turn the page now. Okay, let's do another castle. Let me move my own post-it here. Yeah. So we have Moonsham Castle in Austria. Could I be saying that wrong? Absolutely. I absolutely could. Okay, let's bring our little spider friend back because it wants to listen to us read. Okay, it says, witches, werewolves, and executions bring the spirits of the damned to this medieval fortress. Up here it says, on trial, the youngest accused witch was 10 and the oldest was 80. Oh my gosh. Okay. Down here it says, close contact. Visitors have felt hands grasping at them and voices have been recorded by ghost hunters. Oh my gosh, stop. Okay. Justice for suspected witches during the mass hysteria of the 17th century usually boiled down to one of two choices: confess and die, or be tortured with hot branding irons into confessing and then die. So pick your poison. Moosham Castle, an Austrian fortress whose scars reflect centuries of fierce battles and sieges from the Crusades to the French or Flemish Revolt, most famously served as the headquarters for the systematic identification and eradication of witches during the Salzburg witch trials. I guess that's like the lesser known one, right? Over the course of 15 brutal years, starting in 1675, the trials resulted in the executions of 139 people. Dozens were children through burning, hanging, dismemberment, and decapitation. I'm sorry, this is not a very nice story. Unlike the notorious Salem witch trials that targeted women, most of the accused were male. Whoa. Almost all were poor beggars with nobody to defend them. Those who weren't put to death were imprisoned in the bowels of the castle in appalling conditions. They had their hands cut off, you guys, so they couldn't do any more witchcraft or whatever. The trials finally ended, only to be replaced by a new hysteria. In the 1800s, as cattle and deer were found mysteriously dead, fear swept over the region that it was werewolves on the loose. Of course, Austria, werewolves make sense. Those suspected of being werewolves were also tortured and thrown into the dungeons and executed. So first it was witches and then it was werewolves. Like Grimm's fairy tale come to life. Today, the cries of the damned can be heard throughout the castle, located near Unternberg. Sorry, guys. And privately owned and open for guided tours. It says, beware, some visitors have been so scared by shadowy figures and phantom noises, they can only last an hour within the walls. You know, I want to go. I'm not going all the way to Austria for that, but witches and then werewolves, that's insane. Insane. Oh, we have another castle. I didn't know I did 3 castles. Come on, Spidey. Let's listen to this story. This is Leap Castle. This is in Ireland. On this little box down here, it says, strange aroma. One of the spirits is said to have a decomposing face and a rotting smell. That's happy, isn't it? It says, bones of impaled prisoners litter an underground dungeon. Wait, like to this day? Yikes. Okay. During the 1920s, workers renovating Leap Castle in Coolderry, Ireland, discovered a narrow hole behind a wall of a chapel that led to a platform from which another pit drops 8 feet down. The floor of the hole was discovered in 150 human skeletons around wooden spikes, a grim reminder of the bloody past of what is called Ireland's most haunted castle. Constructed as early as 1250 by the O'Bannon clan, Leap Castle came under attack by rival groups till it was occupied in the 1500s by the ruthless O'Carrolls, who battled other clans and among themselves with equal ferocity, so they just went all after each other. One brother was a priest. He was celebrating mass, and he was stabbed to death with a sword by his other brother. That's nice. Let's see. Some people call it the Bloody Chapel, where the priestly brother collapsed right in front of his family. That the underground dungeon was built. Legend has it that the O'Carrolls invited a mercenary soldiers to the castle for a feast to celebrate their victories. but instead of paying them, the Carols would poison them and toss them onto the spikes. While the castle is centuries old, the dungeon, which they call an oubliette, I don't know if I'm saying that right, may have been used as recently as the 1800s because they found a pocket watch amid the bones. Interesting. The castle ruins were sold in the 1970s to a private owner, and then that person kept doing renovations. Now it's owned by traditional Irish musician Sean Ryan. Could be saying his name wrong. And he lives there and offers tours for history buffs and ghost hunters. There's several spirits called the Red Lady, which is a woman with brown hair wearing a red dress, who either was stabbed to death by the O'Carroll family or died by suicide after the O'Carrolls killed her baby, unborn baby. Okay, so another happy story. I'm Irish from my mom's side. Maybe I should go to Ireland, huh? Okay, we are out of the castle section and we're into like haunted places. Hold on, let me check. Oh my god, my stomach just growled so loud. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to find what the section is called. I don't know. I guess dark history. Okay. So we have the LaLaurie Mansion. It says a sadistic New Orleans socialite tortured her slaves and left them to die in a fire. I feel like I know this story. Come on, Spidey, come back. I feel like I know this story. I feel like I don't know if I've read one of these like stories with you guys about this place, like maybe in a different magazine, or maybe someone did a YouTube video on it. I'm not sure, but I feel this sounds familiar to me, so I picked it. It says House of Horrors. Madame LaLaurie beat her children when they tried to free the slaves. That's crazy. Sleepless nights. Occupants in the 1870s said they heard screams, dragging chains, and scratching noises under the floorboards. Okay. April 10th, 1834, flames tore through one of the most exclusive homes in New Orleans in the French Quarter, the mansion of Madame LaLaurie. She was a socialite who was married to a doctor. Yeah, I totally know this story. I just don't know why I know it. As neighbors raced to try to get the fire out, they broke through the locked doors into the slave quarters, finding 7 people secured by iron collars and chains. They appeared to be starving. They were whipped and they could barely walk. The master of the house, which was Dr. Leonard LaLaurie, was pressed about the conditions of his slaves. It was brutal even by those standards. He sniffed back some people had better stay at home rather than come to others' houses to dictate laws and meddle with other people's business. Ew. What a a-hole. The flames were put out, but it became clear that the fire destroyed not just the mansion, but the reputation of the city's leading ladies. Mary Delphine McCarty LaLaurie was a twice widowed socialite in a shaky marriage with husband number 3, who had long faced whispers that she mistreated her slaves. When the fire revealed everyone's worst suspicions, an angry mob of locals descended on the mansion and destroyed everything they could get their hands on. Wow. Honestly, good for you. Good for you. An investigation found that a dozen slaves, including children, died between 1830 and the day of the fire, although later accounts claim the real death toll could be much higher, you guys. Oh my gosh. There was a neighbor that witnessed an enslaved young woman fall to her death from the roof because Madame LaLaurie was chasing her, trying to whip her. After the mob attack, Mary fled to Paris and she died sometime in the 1840s. As her damaged mansion fell to ruin, a new house was constructed on the site. Although it's not the original LaLaurie mansion, it is a popular attraction for ghost hunters because they say that the spirits of the tortured slaves are still like on the grounds. Nicolas Cage briefly owned this house. I like a bit of mystery, and the house had such a mystery to it. Maybe that's why I know the story? I don't know. He planned to use the home for inspiration to write the great American horror novel before losing it to foreclosure. Okay, that's messed up. And she was able to just run away and get away with it. Just like, I'm gonna skip town. Bye. Okay, we're into the section called Creepy Places. And the post-it that I did is in Scotland again. Overton, I don't know how you guys say it, but bridge. It says, why do dogs keep jumping off the suspended structure? I'm sorry that this one has animals in it. I deeply apologize for that. I literally just randomly pick stories, except for that last one, because that one sounded familiar to me. But I was just literally like slapping post-its so I can do this video for you guys. So I'm sorry if something gets said that's bad about dogs. Okay, unhappy spirit. It says some suggest that the dogs are spooked by the ghost of the white lady, a grieving widow. And right here it says, a mystery. In 2010, an animal behaviorist acknowledged the bridge had a strange feeling. Maybe there's a perfectly rational explanation. Maybe the dogs are confused by the surrounding bushes, thinking that the ground doesn't drop off as steeply as it does. Perhaps it's the smell of squirrels or mink below, and it drives the canines crazy, or maybe much darker forces at work. Bottom line, dogs keep jumping off Scotland's Overton. I'm just going to say Overton, but I don't really know. Estimates range from 300 to 600 doggies have just jumped off of this bridge, and the gorge below is 50 feet deep. At least 50 dogs have died, many more have been injured. It's a recent phenomenon and no one knows why. The three-arched Gothic stone bridge spans a river called the Overton Burn near Dumbarton. It was built in 1895. It's been a century, and the bridge leading to Overton House seems to be completely dog-friendly. Then, in 2005, reports began filtering about dogs sailing off the bridge with such abandon that folks thought the dogs were dying by suicide. I don't know if a dog can die that way, right? As London tabloids picked up the story, animal psychologists spun theories. One suggested that the foliage around the bridge fools dogs into thinking that they're on an even ground, not high up, so they just keep going. Some people think it's wildlife, the smell of male mink urine in particular. Skeptics have rejected these ideas, and locals note there haven't been mink in the area for years. A more popular theory is that superstitious residents is that there's something paranormal, perhaps the effects of the bridge sitting on the thin place of Celtic lore, where earth and heaven converge. Aww. But still, why would the dogs want to jump? Weird. My opinion, I think it's that the dogs think they're on uneven, or like think they're on even ground, and they keep going and they fall off. That's my guess. Okay, Island of the Dolls. I definitely have heard this story too. As soon as I saw this, I was like, I have to do it. So, most of these, like I said, were random, but there was a couple that I picked on purpose. This was the second of the two that I picked on purpose. This is in Mexico. It says startling sounds. Some visitors have heard mysterious cries and walks. In Wales. Sorry, need my glasses today. And Wales on the island. Thousands of dismembered toy figures hang from the trees in memory of a dead girl. Oh gosh. Welcome to Barbie's worst nightmare. An island accessible by a 2-hour boat ride from Mexico City is covered with thousands of dolls. I was watching, what was it called? It's Ryan Bergara and Shane, and they have their own channel now, Watcher, but they used to have a channel. What was the other channel called? I'm sure you guys know. But they went here and they said it was covered in spiders too. I think that might creep me out more than the dolls. Anyways, the dolls are impaled on branches. They're dismembered, decapitated, crawling with ants, covered in spider webs, splashed with mud, blood red paint. Some have their eyes gorged out. That's nice. This is a macabre handiwork of the island's former caretaker, Don Julian Santana Barrera, who began decorating the trees and hanging dolls in 1951. Didn't stop for half a century. There's more than 2,000 dolls on La Isla de las... I don't know, guys. I haven't taken Spanish class in 25 years. Or Island of the Dolls, a place bathed in myth and grief. Some say it all started when he was traumatized by finding a drowned girl. Oh, in the canal in 1951, with a doll floating nearby. Others claim he went mad with grief and loneliness when his girlfriend left him for another man. But why would he pick dolls? I guess if he has a mental illness, he would pick anything, right? Perhaps both things happened. For whatever reason, from then on, he lived a hermit's life and felt compelled to express himself with dolls until the day he died in 2001, reportedly of a heart attack. His body was found in the same place a young girl was said to have drowned. Today, the Island of the Dolls attracts tourists, ghost hunters, and people who claim they've seen the dolls blink, wiggle their arms and legs, and even whisper. It's gonna be no for me, buddy. Okay, we have one story. I wasn't sure if we'd get through all the post-its, but we did, and we're on the last one. I'm going to move this post-it though, because it's in my way of reading. This down here says what lies beneath. Says as above, so below. A 2014 found footage horror movie follows urban explorers into the roped off sections of the catacombs. No. In France, we have the Paris catacombs. Just a French connection with the dead. It says, don't try exploring on your own. I wouldn't try exploring at all. Come on, Spidey. Let's read this last story together. Put it right there. Okay. It says, it can get very dark under the city of light. In the catacombs of Paris, the bones of 6 million people fill a maze of tunnels and rooms. The femurs and tibias and skulls piled high into walls and stuffed into every nook and cranny in the limestone. The bones got here starting in the 1700s when heavy rains unleashed floods that uprooted corpses from the Middle Ages in the city's crowded Holy Innocents Cemetery. I did not know that. That is really gross. Officials packed up the bones and stashed them in a defunct quarry where the constant 57-degree temperatures would keep them well preserved. The bones kept coming until the last remains were deposited in 1859. A small portion of the 186 miles of tunnels is open to the public to gawk at the bizarre artistic display of bones, arranged as crosses and other shapes. Urban adventurers called cataphiles go underground for parties or concerts, or because they like the peace and solitude among the dead. It's going to be a hard pass for me. Some have been known to go beyond the approved locations into secret swimming pools. Absolutely not. Don't do that. Don't do that. I feel like that's disrespectful too. It's like these deceased people already got uprooted once and got moved. Then you're gonna go like swim with their bodies? I don't know. Yucky. In 2017, two teenagers got lost for 3 days. They were lured by what some say are taunting voices of the spirits of the dead deeper into the catacombs until they had no idea how to get out. Rescue dogs found the youths who made it back to safety. No, Others have not been so lucky. In 1793, during the French Revolutions, Philibert Aspart, I don't know how to say his name, a doorkeeper of the nearby Val de Grace Hospital, ventured into the catacombs via a staircase in the hospital courtyard. His body wasn't discovered for 11 years. Oh my gosh. Holy moly. Okay, you guys, that's gonna be it for me. Please let me know if you like it better when I like flip through the pages and pick it in real time, like with you, or if you like if I do it pre-chosen so we don't have to wander around and we can just get to the stories. I don't mind either way. You guys just let me know. And me and Spidey will see you guys next time. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Sorry the light went like kind of in and out, in and out. It's like a partially sunny day this morning. So we're having like rolling clouds and then it gets darker and then more sunshine. Like, I don't know, weird weather, but thanks for being with me. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to go lay down because I kind of feel like crap. I'll see you next time. Bye.